But let's look at right now, we're going to talk about women. And don't worry, man, I'm coming for you as well, but we're going to talk about the women here for a second. If you were dying of cancer, they would give you the biggest bill humanly possible and say, oops, sorry. You think they don't have a cure for cancer? Why do you never see any of the elites or the Hollywood, the best, the A-listers in Hollywood? They get cancer, they live. The only exception being really Steve Jobs that I can think of, and he was kind of hooby-dooby, I'm going to go on my own path. But for the most part, you don't hear about them dying of cancer. I would argue they have a cure, and it's a tool that they use to blackmail and get the best behavior that they want out of the people with power and control. Epstein's Island, but hey, you got cancer, we got someone you want. Just take this magical potion right here and sell your soul. So if you're an average person, you're going to get wrecked, you got cancer, here's a nice little bill. Why, during the scamdemic, are they, at least in Canada or in commie Canada, why are they handing out free French fries, free ice cream? In Manitoba, giving away $100 prepaid MasterCard gift cards for every jab you get. Now, I get it. I'm born and raised in Winnipeg. I'm cheap. I was more than happy to go around 15 times to try to get some MasterCard gift cards because I had no money at the time. But why are they giving away all of this for free when if you were dying, they wouldn't give a shit? And they would just tell you to go and die on the street. Birth control. Why are we at the point where they give birth control, hormonal birth control to women, and they hand it out like candy, like it's Halloween, like it's the full-size Mars bars and the O'Henrys? Just, here you go, everybody, like Oprah, here's a little birth control for you, everybody gets birth control. Everybody gets on it. And then they start this birth control at 13, 14, 15 because it might regulate your period. It might make your cramps a little bit better. Well, you don't want to get pregnant because basically being 15 through 29 is don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant. And then at 30 onward is like, get pregnant, get pregnant, get pregnant. You're going to be scrambled eggs soon. Absolute psyop. And they've emotionally controlled women to believe that being pregnant before the age of 30 is an awful thing. And anything 30 plus is empowering. Well, I hate to break it to you, ladies. They are trying to waste your most fertile years. They want you running around in your late teens, early 20s, getting university degrees, because you're going to be in the college dorms getting absolutely plowed harder than a field in Manitoba. Having all the fun, the endless degenerate fun, racking up mileage on the odometer, becoming hardened through hardened experiences, and then when you go to find the cleanup guy at 27, 28, 29, when the biological clocks are ticking saying, lady, time for some kids, you wonder why she's not compliant to the man. You wonder why she never listens. Right? There are many women that I have dated, both recreationally, as recreational use only, and seriously, where we have split, we have parted ways, we have gone our separate ways, and they find literally the cleanup guy every single time. They get fatter, they get covered in tattoos, and it is literally the textbook definition of the cleanup guy that has no idea what that woman has done, or what I have done to her, or what is in her past. They are cleaning up the mess. They don't tell men about this, but they're trying to get women to waste their most fertile years. There's also a reason why you look on TV. We've talked on this channel before about how every sitcom, every movie, every TV show, the father is portrayed as the absolute fat, bumbling buffoon, and the woman is the alpha hero. She saves the family. She can do no wrong. She keeps the family together. Have you also noticed on news shows, which again, the mainstream news is complete poison, but on the mainstream news, on the sports channels, they never have young, fertile women on TV. It's always the old hags, 30 plus, that are empowered to be there. Look at how good she looks. She looks great for 32. I'm sorry, lady. Nothing you ever convince me is going to convince me to buy a car with 300,000 miles on it versus the pre-100,000 warranty. Nothing you say will ever convince me otherwise. All psyop. But so anyway, they give women birth control out completely free at 14, 15, 16. And if you look at the side effects, they thin a lot of the brain tissue upstairs, and they also change the way that women select, because if you look at the women's 28-day cycle, between ovulation, menstruating, etc., they all select very differently. Like you could tell a woman the same joke the same way and get 4 different results based on the 4 different cycles that they have. And so birth control essentially hormonally tricks the female body into believing you just got pregnant and fertilized. So if I'm fertilized, I don't need to drop an egg. There's no need to worry about reproduction because I just got pregnant. And they do that for 13, 14, 15 years. And think about this, back in the day when men had to have farms and they needed to have lots of kids for basically labor on the farms, and the women were pumping out 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 kids. That was it. They were done, right? Here's my 2 weeks notice. I can't do anymore. And they started young and they were tapped out by the time they were 30. Now think about, you're on birth control for that amount of time, and these women were taking breaks in between their pregnancy. They weren't just going at it right away, usually. And so every single month for 15 years, you're faking a pregnancy. Think of the damage it does to the female body. think of the damage it does up here to the hormone panels, and then also down here in the reproductive tract and the actual organs that are necessary to facilitate pregnancy and incubate a child, right? On top of that, they also select completely differently. Women on birth control select a more dramatically feminized man versus women not on birth control. They love a more high testosterone, alpha characteristic man. And I can tell you through two different experiences. I had two women that I dated on a long-term basis, one for a year and change, one for 2.5 years. Both of them on birth control for half, off birth control for the other half. And it was literally like I had two different girlfriends. When they're on the birth control, they wanted my hair to be longer, they wanted more of a longer cut, and they wanted the beard to be more rounded, tapered round, just like chubby cheeks, which is more feminine. You emphasize the fat cheeks. When they were off the birth control, nice fade, high and tight, right down to the wood, a masculine taper, and then my beard, right? The Leonidas look that I have, they want that 300 type of look. This is a masculine cue. And then you think about, you date a woman, let's say, for 2 to 4 years on birth control. She has selected you as a beta male. Well, time to fertilize her. Got to get off the birth control for a year for her to become fertile again, and you wonder why she doesn't like you. They are trying to sabotage your relationship. She has the kid. She goes through the depression, the postpartum depression, and then you wonder why her friend, Becky down the street, who's a hairdresser, telling her, hey, you can do better. You don't got to deal with this stupid ass. Get a good lawyer. I got a great lawyer. I took my husband to the cleaners as well. And then her horoscope, Instagram, and the hive-minded, communalistic thinking of women has completely told her, you can do better. Everything is interchangeable. You can get a new car every 2 years. You can get a new career every 5 years. You can get a new man every 4 to 5 years as well. Take half his shit anyway, right? Think about this. On top of the fact, loads of women that I have dated and that I've encountered, they're on the birth control, and then roughly 25 through 30, this PCOS, which basically makes women infertile, I think is running rampant in women 25 plus. So you're on birth control, you're getting plowed harder than a field in Saskatchewan, having all the endless fun, racking up mileage, becoming hardened. You want to get pregnant. Oops, you can't because you're not fertile anymore because you have PCOS, because the birth control destroyed your fertility. Doesn't that sound lovely? Well, I guess we can collect dogs now. And the reality is, ladies, I'm sorry. If a woman cannot offer me kids, there is zero value. Zero value at all. What are we going to do? Talk about Vampire Diaries? We're going to watch Love Island together? No. We can throw the baseball in the backyard. There's no value being offered my way. Women also that are fertile, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this. I discovered this recently, this too posh to push movement, where they've decided, unless you're going to get me a very nice expensive car or a very nice home or a very nice present, I'm not having my own kids. I'm too posh to push. We can adopt. Why do I want somebody else's used kids? Why would I get some fossilized piece of dinosaur shit, spend 3 months' salary on it, get married and walk into the slaughterhouse, just for you to give me somebody else's kids? What an absolute scam.